Hello, everyone. This is Kateri, and we are going to do a little bit of a different video because I really don't feel like crafting much today. So, yesterday, to make a long story short, this little guy that you're looking at is Spencer, and he was um, in our lives for 16 years, and he was a rescue from our shelter here in town when he was 3 months old. And I happened to be doing volunteer work there and never wanted to go in the back because I knew there would be a dog that I would want. Well, I had always wanted a wired hair miniature dachshund. And one day, for some reason, I went back there and I saw this little guy sitting in his crate, and it wasn't even messed up. They hadn't even cleaned it. So I said, "Come on, let's go potty." So I took him out, and he went as soon as I took him out. His nails were massively long, and I don't think they had been cut from the day that he had been born. Lady walks up to me and she says, "Is he up for adoption?" And I said no. And of course, I took a look at her and knew that she probably wasn't going to be able to give him a good home. Um, Her car was like on its last leg, and so I went and put him in the car and um, took him home. And me owning a obedience school, I immediately that night took him into training. And of course, there's all kinds of dogs there. I mean, everything from small to large. And I was bound determined to let people see that you can train a small dog because so many of them were saying that they couldn't train their dog. And he ended up being one of the best obedience dog, well, one of my best obedience. He worked just as well as a border collie. He found his way into my husband's heart over the years, and my husband, who really wasn't a dog person, really fell in love with him. And Spencer, in his early years, would ride on a lawnmower with him when he'd cut the grass. And he would sleep at the end of my son's bed and sit at the top of the stairs waiting on the kids to come home from school, or the my husband to come home from work. And um, the last year he really started failing, and he just got to the point where he would fall going down the 2 steps out in front. Um, he'd forget what he'd go outside to do, and we couldn't let him run through the house because he would just lose his bowels, or he would just urinate standing at the water dish. And um, towards the very end, he couldn't see anymore. He couldn't hear, and I knew his time was coming, and I was surprised that he actually made it through winter. Um, he was just a really great dog. Loved to play with his frisbee, run through the yard. I'd have to make him quit because he would just keep going and going. And and as you probably saw the picture, when they got hot, they would go get in the swimming pool and they would sit there and cool off, and then off they would go playing some more. So he didn't know what size dog he was. He thought he was a German Shepherd, I guess, but he was just the he was just the best. But anyway, as you can tell, it's really tough. It's like losing one of your kids that you've had for 16 years, and they are a part of your life. And I will really miss him a lot. There's so much I could tell you about him, but I don't think I could get through it. So I hope you understand why I couldn't do a video today. It's hard enough doing this. But I wanted to honor him because he was such a great dog. He was so photogenic, and he was just, God, he was just such a ham for the camera, and he just loved people. He enjoyed the companionship of other dogs, and him and my basset hound Isabel were glued together, which was amazing. And then once she passed away, I think last year, he just really, he didn't want to be touched anymore, but that could be due to his age. But I'd still pet him. He still liked to be petted and stuff, but he didn't like to be picked up. But they all would go walks in the woods, and as you can see in the pictures, you know, they all love to play in the snow. And I did a lot of showing and obedience with the dogs. He just loved to go. He loved to ride in the car. Oh my God, I'm going to miss him. There's no way I could ever get another dog at this point. But it's going to be really tough not having a dog in my life because I've had them ever since I was a very young kid. Isn't he goofy looking? He's so cute there. Those little hats. I know he probably thought, what in the heck, Mom, are you putting on me? But here's the picture of them in the pool. And you can see my German Shepherd, she always used to run around with her Frisbee folded in half, so it made it look like she had big old lips. And I don't know where Spencer, he might be sitting on his Frisbee. But, yeah, they were all really great dogs. And then this, he loved to play in the leaves. It's funny, I'd throw his Frisbee in there and he'd get in there and go hunt for it. And, yeah, and then he'd run and go get the Frisbee, and then he'd take it back and he'd put it in the leaves and try to cover it up. Yeah, he's a cool dog. He really was. He was ended up being a Jack Russell wire-hair miniature dachshund mix. I would never in a million years own a Jack Russell because I don't care for the personality of a terrier. But I think his personality had a lot to do with the training that he had. So here's one of him in his toy box, yanking all the toys out. Looks like one of my Fosters is in that picture too. Might have been Emma, I'm not sure. But yeah, he loved his toys. He had a blue ball that we used to throw down the hall, and he'd run and go get it 50 times. Doesn't make any difference who walked in the house. It's like, go, where's my ball? Where's my ball? I got to go get my ball. And he had a friend for life after that. But yeah. But anyway, thank you if you've stayed for the end of this. It's been a total joy having this little guy in our life. And we'll meet him again because he will be sitting at the top of the stairs like he did here at home and waiting on us. And thank you, everyone.